It's the last day of Adepticon 2012. I'm here with the man with the plan. This is Mathias. Kind of run the majority of the big thing. And how's this year been going?
It's good. I mean, it's
tiring.
It's tiring. It's overwhelming, and I think logistically, it's just difficult to keep on top of anything, especially when most of us are involved in actually running events instead of just sort of being kind of commanding it from from outside of the event. So it's a little overwhelming. It makes us sort of maybe rethink our structure a little bit, but it's going well. I mean, people seem to be having a great time.
Yep.
We had, I think, close to 800 people come through registration on Thursday night, which was well over double what we did last year. So I mean, the enthusiasm of people coming out early is, that's really promising for us, because that shows us that there's people willing to do that. There's a demand for that, and might give us some options to sort of start to expand that event a little bit on the bookends, hopefully.
Because on Thursdays, you guys do have events already starting, more seminars and things like that to some degree, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of in a experimental stage, I guess. We used to not even start till like Friday at 5 p.m. And now Thursdays this year we had a slate of free events. Every event on Friday was free except for the seminars. So we ran the Privateer Press ran a War Machine kickoff tournament. We had some Legends of the Old West style games, some BattleTech demos, just stuff like that. Just get people primed for the weekend.
Yeah.
And then we had maybe 4 or 5 hobby seminars that also happened Thursday night. So I mean, it's tough for us because we don't know how much space in the hotel we can actually get. So we kind of got to just book a minimum amount of stuff and pray that the halls are open.
Yeah.
Because we really sometimes don't know what's going on in the hotel on Wednesday or whatever. So, for example, there was a wedding here Saturday night. So.
Yeah, there was a lot of people. It was interesting to see people in suits and ties and nice dresses and stuff like that walking amongst, all the rest of us, pretty much.
Right, that's the second wedding we've had in 4 years here. The first wedding wasn't so bad because we weren't big enough to take up the whole hotel at the time, but it's kind of a clash of worlds. It's kind of fun.
Well, but to be fair, you saw people in the suits and in the dresses walking around checking out the demos and looking at stuff and looking at the painted miniatures and the terrain and all that.
Inevitably, there's always someone who approaches you throughout the event that's just like, what's going on here? And it's interesting to see something that they just have probably zero exposure to, and I think a lot of people, oh, you mean like online game, like Xbox? Like people don't know that there's non-digital gaming. There's analog gaming still, So I mean, to see it on that scale, I mean, I had a guy come up from my work who just sort of knows what I do sort of on the side because I see him every day, and he's got a 10-year-old son, and he's like, I'm gonna bring my kid up. And they came up and they were like, wow, I can't believe how big this is. This is crazy. So I think, I just think a lot of people aren't aware something like this exists.
And it's been existing for 10 years now. This is the 10th year. What kind of stuff are you guys looking forward to sort of in the future?
Well, I mean, we have a challenge in terms of addressing our space. I mean, the constraints of where we're currently at. Weston's a great hotel. We love to work with them. But, we do have events that want to grow, new events that want to come in. I mean, our War Machine events doubled this year. We added some Malifaux events. I know there's some new games that we don't even have, say like Dust Tactics, Dystopian Wars, stuff we'd love to see come in, even on a small startup scale for us. We'd love to get them involved. The question is where do we put them? Yeah. So we have that as a big challenge. We're also in a very bizarre middle ground where there's not a lot of hotels that are bigger that provide more space. So it's like we can move out of here maybe, but then we're looking at convention space. Yeah. And convention space, not only is it much more than we need and much more expensive, it's also usually just comes in one gigantic open blocked room, which would be a nightmare. Right, so, I mean, I'm not sure where we'll go. That's going to be our biggest challenge. There'll be a lot of questions to answer in the next month or so. But I would love to bring in some smaller events again. I don't really think any of our core events have any really room to go anywhere. Yeah. Doubling War Machine this year was something we needed to do, and we made sure we did it, but it was still a challenge. Yeah. I mean, I know we have seminars and suites. We have Blood Bowl has a nice little suite with a exterior deck and they got their own kitchenette, all that stuff. They love it, but I mean, still, like, that's us like really kind of like, scraping the bottom of the barrel for space in this hotel. I mean, we even looked at the basement in here, but then the question is who can you put in the basement?
No, I run a small convention at back home, and actually we started expanding into the basement in the facility we're at. It's not a real big facility, but we put the miniature guys down there because that's what we do, and we're like, that's fine. And everybody plays in the basement anyway.
Exactly. Well, exactly. Yeah.
You don't have the choice here because everyone's miniature guys. The I guess the Crystal Brush is coming up, like the big end thing, the big the big competition. It's about to end about 2:00, so another couple hours. Do you guys see that really drawing in a lot of people? I mean, from outside. I mean, it seems like people are coming from far away.
Yeah, well, I know Cool Mini or Not brought in a lot of top winners from other events, and I'm not really sure how many of them actually attended. I don't really have too many good statistics on that. I know some of them did for sure. They were bringing in people, I think, from Australia and the UK and stuff like that had won other big events, Salute, stuff like that. The Crystal Brush, I would love to see it grow. I also think it's one of those events that, has the potential to sort of like stay where it's at because, I think there were more entries last year, and I think what people who would possibly enter a painting competition might be kind of like scared of a painting competition that's trying out these big guns, and therefore they might just, I'm not going to waste my time or whatever. So, I mean, I think like we would really maybe like to sit down and work with that to where, we could open up some other types of categories, or maybe even like, I don't want to say, amateur professional kind of thing, but we used to run what we called the Rogue Demon way back when. That's something we ran. Cool Mini or Not, of course, does it far more efficiently and better than we ever could. So we love the fact that they come in and they run this painting competition. And, the prize support and everything is unparalleled. But we would also like to probably, outside of tournaments and best appearances and all that, maybe look at, a way to reinvigorate the, mediocres to like, hey, I'm really good, but not quite that good type of painters.
Yeah, I know for myself, I'm not what I consider to be a real good painter, but I'm getting there. But I'm certainly not going to enter, something like this, But smaller things I would be kind of interested in. I think that's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, I think we actually, I think the first year looked at running tandem events, sort of. So I mean, I've had some comments about things of that nature. So I mean, it's something to look at. I mean, again, it's one of those things that is logistical space concern for us. So I think the cases and everything, our location, all that worked out better for the Crystal Brush in general this year. But I mean, always room for improvement. It's all a big experiment. So
Exactly. It's not like there's a book to follow on this stuff. Exactly. You're making it up as you go along. Well, I really appreciate you talking to us. And it's like I said, we've had a really good time. It's been a good convention, and I haven't come across anybody yet who's been unhappy. But then again, I'm not necessarily the guy up at the registration area. So I'm sure every once in a while you hear a little bit of something. But
it's bound. I mean, if we can get 94 to 96% people walking out of here smiling, then it's as good as we can really do at the end of the day. So I mean, we appreciate you guys coming back out again. This is great. I mean, the coverage last year was fantastic, and we look forward to seeing you guys again.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll be back again next year. So I appreciate it, and thanks for talking to us.
All right, thank you.